You can never win at something you've never tried doing. Statements like those usually feel like a big lie. It's a quote describing what sounds like a fairly easy solution to what usually feels like an impossible task. Yet, a year ago, I had a voice in the back of my head telling me to just try. And this one mindset changed my life in a way I could never have possibly imagined. I found this mindset within a saying, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it fundamentally changed the way I view life. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. If you actually, methodically apply this one mindset, it can and will change your life. In 1 year, I have, for example, learned new skills, found my passion, found a job that lets me be creative with security, met new friends, and started up a new business. But to tell this story right, I need to reverse the tape a little. My new journey may have begun with a saying, but I started over 12 years ago in my parents' basement. See, I was just a kid with big dreams and grand illusions of becoming an entrepreneur and a YouTuber. I wanted to be like my idols, and I felt deep in my core that I had something special. And so, perhaps with too much arrogance, definitely with too much arrogance, I set out to prove myself. I had what would be, at that time, one of Sweden's biggest YouTube channels. Mind you, this was like circa 10,000 subscribers. YouTube was quite new in Sweden and an influencer scene had not quite yet developed. But I remember at that time I felt very proud. But when I felt on top of the world, suddenly it all came crashing down. I had other responsibilities. I mean, I had a job, I had a family, my grades were falling behind at school, and I was worrying about my future because I was a soon-to-be high school graduate with not much of a plan at all. I uploaded less and less. And the influencer scene was growing and getting bigger and bigger. And eventually, I faded into the background and became a has-been. You might be wondering why I didn't pursue YouTube as a career. And honestly, I couldn't tell you because I still don't know why. All I know is I felt crushed after that. I had squandered my one and only big opportunity that most people don't even get. After that, I became too paralyzed to ever chase a dream again. I felt like I didn't deserve much of a second chance. Over the coming decade, I developed bad habits, which eventually turned into an unhappy and unsatisfied life. I made one bad choice after another. I let my identity become synonymous with being an old YouTuber, and I lived off of my old merits for as long as I possibly could. Fast forward to January of last year. I had hit a new low. I mean, the lowest I've ever felt in my life. I was exhausted, I felt burnt out, I just felt like I had no control of anything. Everything was falling apart again. Until one day, when I was at home doing what most so-called lazy, ambitious people do, I was on my laptop researching on YouTube. I think I was watching every business guru out there and yet still wondering why my life hadn't turned out the way I knew it could. I mean, I had the knowledge, I had tried, I used to be a YouTuber, I was making a living as a freelance videographer and editor for social media, but why? Why wasn't I satisfied? Why hadn't I fulfilled my full potential? Why did I feel this way? And then I stumbled across a video. I don't remember who made it, but if I can find it, I'll link it in the description. But in it, someone said two things that actually struck quite a chord with me. The first was something like, the reason your life is falling apart is because you have to leave your old life to step into your new one. Which for me, just based off what I just told you, was like, wow. And the second was, be passionate for the journey and you'll forget the destination altogether. And suddenly, there it was. It hit so hard, it actually felt like I ran face first into a brick wall. I was being paralyzed because I was focused on where I wanted to be, not how to get there. But all of a sudden, the voice in the back of my head started whispering again. The same voice I had back in my parents' basement 12 years ago. But I was still waiting for the perfect moment to start. I was standing at the bottom of a mountain and I was planning and searching for the fastest path to the summit until one of those paths made me stumble across Eastern philosophy, and more specifically Lao Tzu. I read the translated English version of Tao Te Ching, and in chapter 64 I found the saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I thought to myself, why am I standing at the base of the mountain planning and searching for the fastest path to the summit? I mean, I'm not even moving. Instead of staring at the summit, I decided to focus on taking a single step at a time. And after that key decision, I felt my mindset starting to shift a bit. But I felt like I needed something more than just words off of a 1700-year-old paper. I needed a plan and a strategy. So how do you take a philosophical saying and turn it into an actual executable strategy? I first had to define what one single step meant, And for me, that meant take action on one task every day. And to have tasks every day, I set up a new goal every month. That goal could be something that for me would be complicated, like learning a new language, or for me could be something easier, like saying hello to a stranger on the street every day. If I could achieve the goal at the end of the month didn't actually matter. What mattered was if I showed up every day and performed one single step. And I found, instead of actually waiting for the results of what I wanted to happen, I started to enjoy the actual process of getting there. I think we as humans often get in our head and overthink things before we even start. Thoughts like, what if I fail? What if I don't know how? What if I won't be able to? But what if thinking about the destination and thinking about the best way to get there is actually getting in the way of you getting there? I mean, you can plan on running a 10K all you want, but as soon as you start to overthink it, you do not know where to start. But if you just slap on the shoes, tie the laces, walk out the door and start running, and then you do that every single day or once a week, I can guarantee you that you will build up your stamina and you will be able to run a 10K without even batting an eye eventually. So I'll end this like my Asian homeboy Lao Tzu and say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
But a stranger's tone, alright.